to Far Out Lit Lounge. Today I'm talking about Some Bright Nowhere. It's by Ann Packer, and it was one of Oprah's book club's reads in 2025. So this book there's a little bit of a trigger warning here because it's about somebody who's dying of cancer. It has about 6 months to live. Well, 3 weeks to 6 months. I have resonated a lot with a lot of the stuff in this book because I went through it with my mom mostly, and just about how they keep anticipating when the end will be. Hospice and doctors do, and that becomes something you kind of hang on to as someone who's caretaking someone who's passing or has a loved one who's passing. You're somehow bracing yourself for this 3 weeks to 6 months, whatever it is, and that becomes something that is always niggling in your mind, going around and around in your mind. The main character, Elliot, is the husband of the woman who's dying of cancer. And that comes up quite a lot in their conversation, this how long is it really? They think it's the end, but then she comes back and she is feeling more. Claire. Claire is the person who's dying of cancer. Claire goes through these periods of being really not lucid and sleeping all the time and not coherent to being sitting up the next day and remembering everybody and joking around with folks and stuff. And so it's kind of this really is a great example of the rigmarole that you go through and just this grief cycling all around and how you're dealing with it with your rational mind and working through it. And I liked this book for a lot of those reasons. I felt like it was really resonated with me and the experiences that I had with when you're going through grief and the loss of a loved one, even though there's a lot of people around, it is kind of a lonely business. You do feel alone, and this book made me feel like, okay, wow, all the things I was thinking wasn't other people think it too. I'm not alone, and I haven't read a lot of books about the end of life. And this was the first book that I really read other than books that are talking about preparing yourself for end of life. So it was great for that. It's a subject matter I think doesn't get covered enough. The only thing I have about this book that was not so great for me is I really didn't resonate with any of the characters. I found the characters nobody I could really like. Claire, I I found her very frustrating. I felt like the people in this book, the characters in this book didn't know how to have deep conversations, which was something I would have liked to have seen in an end of life is folks who are struggling with having those deep conversations, getting over that hump and talking about them now. They kind of touch point on them and then pull back out. They don't really have the dialogue I was hoping for. I found Claire to just not have conversations with this man she's been married to for decades. And that was disappointing. And these very, very good friends that she has, I found that lack of dialogue disappointing to me. A lot of things that happen in this book. There's one big shocker in this book. I was kind of horrified for Elliot, the main character, and how he sort of dealt with it. He's narrating this book really. Um, his moments of just breakdown. But the characters weren't really lovable to me at all. They weren't deep enough for me. And when we're exploring this topic of death, I really wanted these characters to go to places they haven't gone before, other than just doing things in secret and whatnot. And that's my only complaint about this book is that I didn't really resonate with any of the characters. I didn't find any of them lovable. I didn't like Claire and her friends. And maybe that's the point of this book is to really explore, well, this person's dying. I should find some grace for them, yet I don't like them at all. And Elliot has man friends in this book that it would have been nice to explore a little deeper. He kind of explores one relationship with a kind of a superficial guy. And so, yeah, I really just wanted more with the characters, but the subject matter was fantastic. I really resonated a lot with what everybody was going through. I felt like I wished that they went a little deeper because that was something I explored when I was tending to my mom when she was in hospice. And everybody was taking turns in the family, and we all experienced that. And I wish there would have been more of that in this book. But other than that, it's worth a read. It's exploring a subject matter that you don't often get to read about. And if you have lost someone from cancer or anything else, it I think it's worth the read for that. If you're really a super character driven reader, this might not be the book for you, although you might explore why they're a little flat. That's something, even though I was disappointed in this book, I'm still thinking about it, even though I read it. I finished it a couple of days ago, still thinking about why do I think the characters are flat and what would I have wanted more and what was not said that was said that maybe I missed. What innuendos are there? What body language is saying more than I picked up on? And things like that. So you'll think about this book after you're done reading. It's definitely worth a read. It's nicely written. I enjoyed it. I might seek out more of her books. Ann Packer. And as you can see, I got this book from the library in the Lucky Days section, so I have to return it today because my 3 weeks are up. But you can find it at the Santa Cruz Library. There you have it. Some Bright Nowhere. Interesting read. Pick it up. And I also want to remind you, local writers out there in the Santa Cruz Central Coast area, contact me if you would like to come on the pod and discuss your writing, your book, or have it reviewed here on the pod. I would love it. And if you have a book that you thought was fantastic, that you think you need me to read, please recommend it. Please recommend it. I get a ton of recommendations, and I try to read what's recommended to me. So please, please, please do that. Any subject matter is okay. My cat is locked in that room right there. If you're hearing loud meowing right now, that's his favorite thing to do, and then get rescued. So anyway, yeah, contact me through my website, julianajbruno.com. If you have a book you want me to review, you have something to say about a book I did review, or you're a local writer who wants to come on the pod and chat, I would love to have it. So until next time, dear reader friends, dear reader, what's that from? I'm sure the majority of you know. Anyway, worth a read. Check it out, and have a great day today. Take care.